It's Tuesday, February 25th, 2020. I'm Yael Avi, and these are the Cryptosphere's top stories for today. The stock markets plummet amid fears of the spread of the coronavirus, but Bitcoin, as of now, barely moves. What does this mean for the store value narrative? Warren Buffett reinforces his dislike of cryptos, but does he hold any? And later, part 4 in our series, The Race to the CBDC, and today, a closer look at Russia. The impact of the coronavirus has hit financial markets in a big way. Reports that the disease, which has killed 2,700 people so far, has spread outside of its epicenter in China and led to the Dow Jones dropping by 2.8% and the Nasdaq by 2.9% on Monday. Gold has spiked to 7-year highs, but with all that going on, crypto has remained relatively stable for the normally volatile asset class that it usually is. Joining me in studio is senior correspondent Asher Westrup-Evans to try to make sense of all of this. Asher, put this into proportions or context for us all.
All right, I mean, yeah, this is pretty dramatic, and it's clear that there's been a sentiment shift in the markets, which over the last few weeks that we've been hearing about coronavirus, its spread, lockdowns in China, haven't really seen the sort of dramatic falls that we saw take place on Monday. Now, if we look towards those charts that you mentioned earlier, we spoke about gold, we spoke about the Dow, and we can see that this is a clear run to safe havens. We've got the gold there in the orange, the Dow down in blue over the last year. We can see
this is clear cut. This is a safe haven.
Exactly. This is a run to safety right here, and we're seeing this paralleled across the board. Whether we see that in safe haven, currencies such as the Swiss franc or the US dollar, or what we're seeing. I mean, people are moving away from those risk-on assets as they fear a massive turndown in almost all markets except perhaps face masks. But that in and of itself might be a separate case.
Yeah, the conspiracy theorist in me is loving this. But
seriously, I mean, this is a serious concern for the market. They don't feel, as this has spread globally, the concerns for a pandemic of a truly global proportions is on the table. No longer is this focused solely in China. Fears that this could spread have really spooked markets.
Right. Now, earlier we spoke with Joel Kruger. He's a currency analyst at LMAX Digital. Here is his take on the situation.
Right now, Bitcoin has this kind of split personality as far as the dynamics that might drive Bitcoin. On the one side, Bitcoin does have this relationship with an emerging technology that makes it very much risk correlated. So it is going to be sensitive to those themes. Right. On the other side, looking out medium and longer term as the asset matures, there is very much a sense of a market that could become a very significant safe haven store of value asset, given, like gold, its limited supply and more importantly, its decentralized nature.
Asher, what narrative then can we stick with, or is Bitcoin just going to be Bitcoin?
I mean, look, Yael, I mean, this gives a lot of weight to those advocates of the uncorrelated asset argument when it comes to Bitcoin. This really shows that in a time of just safe haven run, I mean, this is the epitome of a safe haven run. We already saw early in the year after the US assassinated Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, we saw that there was that sort of correlation with Bitcoin, admittedly a slightly delayed one, but here we are, broaching 24 hours since those market falls in the US, and we have not seen Bitcoin working counterbalance to that. So what it means for the future of that narrative of a safe haven, who's to tell? I guess this is one of those wait and see kind of situations.
One of those wait and see situations. Let's see how this continues. Asher Westrup-Evans, thank you for this report.
Pleasure.
Now, the Oracle from Omaha has spoken. Following his annual letter to his Berkshire Hathaway shareholders, Warren Buffett gave a lengthy interview to CNBC this past Monday, covering a slew of financial issues from the coronavirus possible effect on U.S. companies and world markets to the strength of the U.S. economy, in his opinion. But he also had a chance to clarify his feelings on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, which, unsurprisingly so, have not changed since that fateful dinner with Tron CEO Justin Sun. This is what he had to say.
Well, I would say this. When Justin and 4 friends came, they behaved perfectly, and we had a good 3.5-hour dinner, and the whole thing was a very friendly exchange of ideas. But cryptocurrencies basically have no value, and they don't produce anything. So you can look at your little ledger item for the next 20 years, and it says you've got X of this cryptocurrency or that. It doesn't reproduce. It doesn't deliver. It can't mail you a check. It can't do anything. And what you hope is that somebody else comes along and pays you more money for it later on. But then that person's got the problem. But in terms of value, zero.
It didn't stop just there. Now, for more on the highlights from Buffett, I'm joined in the studio by BLOCKTV's Yona Hochhauser. Yona, what did Buffett actually have to say about Bitcoin, or that Bitcoin supposedly that Justin gave him and, tweeted about and whatnot?
Right. So Warren Buffett obviously historically hasn't been a big fan of crypto. And you know the saying, don't knock it till you try it. So in that that dinner, or supposed to be lunch, dinner,
right,
with Justin's son and his 4 friends, of course, Justin's son claims that he gave Warren Buffett some Bitcoin. Wonderful. Maybe he gets to try it out. Maybe he'll change his views. But in the interview, Warren was asked about that Bitcoin, and his answer didn't so much fit with what Justin had to say. Now, I'm warning viewers, what you're about to see is quite awkward. Let's watch.
He gave you some Bitcoin. What's it feel like to be a Bitcoiner?
I don't have any Bitcoin.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
No.
You don't own Bitcoin?
I will. No, I do not own one. I don't own any cryptocurrency. I never will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Warren Buffett claims that he doesn't own any Bitcoin. Now you're asking yourself, what didn't Justin's son say he gave him Bitcoin? So Justin's son tweeted after this interview, clearing the stage, saying that the crypto in Bitcoin and Tron that Mr. Buffett owns remains intact with blockchain proof. That's the beauty of blockchain. Now, what he did is he gifted him this Bitcoin and Tron in a Samsung Galaxy Fold phone. Now, I'm not sure if when he gave the phone,
that phone is now holding a door.
Exactly. I'm not sure if Warren Buffett even knew there was crypto on that phone. I'm not sure if Warren Buffett even has that phone. Historically, Warren Buffett has used a regular old school flip phone.
He just moved to an iPhone.
Given to him by his friend Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. So it's kind of amusing. Clearly, Warren Buffett claims he doesn't own any Bitcoin.
Again, it's somewhere, but maybe the butler has it. That said, what did he have anything good to say about Bitcoin? Throw us a bone here, Dave.
Okay, he said one thing that could be positively attributed to Bitcoin. It was actually some sage investing advice. Let's take a listen.
Bitcoin has been used, I think, to move around a fair amount of money illegally. So the people
or maybe in countries where you have a hard
so
time with.
the logical move from the introduction of Bitcoin is to go short suitcases, because the money that was taken in suitcases from one country to another, suitcases will probably fall off in demand. I mean, so you can look at that as the economic contribution of Bitcoin to the society.
Well, somebody who does believe in Bitcoin is former Wall Street executive and current crypto advocate Caitlin Long, who has been making many strides in pushing crypto regulations on state levels, is taking also advantage of the progressive Wyoming legislator to establish the first ever crypto bank in the United States. Long announced the new venture in a series of 29 tweets stating that, to quote her, a critical piece of U.S. market infrastructure is missing, a regulated bank that can act as a bridge to the Federal Reserve for payments and offer custody for big institutional money. The bank's name, according to her, will be Avanti, which means forward in Italian. Let's hope it does just that for the sphere in the United States. G20 central bankers and finance ministers want to push for a wider adoption of standards compelling crypto exchanges to disclose information about users. After a weekend summit in Riyadh, G20 members of financial institutions said many countries haven't yet aligned themselves with the standards imposed by the Financial Action Task Force and urged them to do so rapidly. The FATF held its own plenary last week in Paris and had crypto prominently on the agenda. While we're used to seeing governments seeking to clamp down on the emerging sector, Dave Javon, CEO of research group CipherTrace, who attended the Paris meeting, spoke to us and said that it is not the case. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Now, my sense from the Paris meeting, where all major countries were represented, was there's no desire to stop this. This is viewed as a very innovative technology area. It's viewed as an important area. And they are trying to put banking rules on it because that's what they know how to do. But I didn't get any sense that anyone wants to stop cryptocurrencies. And I think central bank digital currencies, in my opinion, everyone's going to have to do one at some point. And I think these guys recognize it too. It just is an educational issue.
Sweden has begun testing the e-krona, not to be confused with the coronavirus, of course, rather a digital currency, which could soon become the nation's official cryptocurrency. The state-backed testing phase will run for a full year. If successful, the hope is that the nation continues to move away from cash and use e-krona as part of the CBDC. And indeed, when it comes to the EU, strides have been made towards a central bank digital currency. But in neighboring Russia, the situation is a bit different, which leads us to another installment of our series, The Race to the CBDC. So is Russia heading towards a central bank digital currency? Here's Zaki Hennessy with what we might or might not know.
Russia's stance on CBDCs is opaque at best. The nation has been toying with the idea of creating their own CBDC for months, but as of yet, it's unclear whether or not they will actualize that idea. In October of last year, Governor of the Central Bank of Russia, Elvira Nabiullina, made the statement, "We are studying, like many countries, the digital currency of central banks. But this is a process of studying, and we need to look at what we will get from this digital money." This gives the impression that Russia is willing to enter the cryptocurrency playground, and it seems like they decided on a framework for doing so. Following a long period where Russia's central bank was unsure of its stance on regulating digital currency, they've recently proposed a legal framework which allows users to tokenize assets like equities and currencies and issue them to investors. At the same time, however, this framework will label cryptocurrency transactions as suspicious, a move which could be seen as creating a distinction between digital tokenization and cryptocurrency in general. While it appears that Russia has yet to make up its mind about cryptocurrency, no matter what, signs point to the country doing its best to keep a firm grasp on its economy. Zaki Hennessy for BLOCKTV.
Zaki Hennessy joins us now in studio. And Zaki, that presumed ban mentioned in your report, not really happening right now, right?
Not yet, Yael. So far, it's just a proposal, and that is built on the back of the CBR, the Central Bank of Russia, building this platform that will allow for asset tokenization. Although there are many who are speculating and even criticizing the CBR's decision to run with this proposal, seeing as it seems to fragment the idea of cryptocurrency and digital assets, and that is only going to add more murkiness and more uncertainty to an already uncertain environment. And for that reason, many are skeptical that this proposal will mean good things for the future of Russia and CBDCs.
For the future of CBDCs, specifically in Russia. Zaki Hennessy, thank you for this report. Time for Troll of the Day, and today is not Justin Sun's day. After having Buffett rebuff his claim of being sold on cryptos, another blow. Here's Zaki Hennessy with it.
That's right, Yael. So that confusing collection of companies, branches, and blockchains known generally as Steam, probably, I think, was acquired just a few days ago by the Tron Foundation. But it seems that even though Justin Sun now essentially owns the platform itself is making sure that it is safe from his slicked back hair and skeevy ways. Those who run Steam executed a soft fork on Sunday, which will essentially stop Sun from using any of his tokens to vote on the app that he just bought for an undisclosed but more than likely very high amount. Now, it seems that people are having a hard time trusting Sun, which is super weird, because why wouldn't you trust a man who lied to postpone a hugely expensive charity dinner, who does his best to shoehorn himself into any important dialogue, and who, most importantly, is in cahoots with a cartoon lion? Trustworthy to me.
I know, I'd put my life in his hands. Right. Zaki, thank you for that. And of course, that was Around the Block for today. Thank you for watching. For more blockchain, tech, and cryptocurrency, visit us at blocktv.com.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.